Hello, everyone. Let me get us set up here and add Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
So,
I don't see faces. Okay. I was like, I see you down in like the little box, but not in the big box.
I
I
was
just
like, let me
this
see how I.
literally a second ago I wanted to put this on. So
I was like, let me see how I can confuse Rachel Mallis today.
yeah. I was like, is it broken?
Is it broken? What's going on? How are you on this lovely Friday, Miss
I'm
Mallis?
good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm really excited. This is feels like a throwback to me because I learned to do this sort of rapping from you, and it's the reason I feel so confident doing this, rapping with small stones, pretty much most types of raps, honestly. Because you really got me going again in Wire when the pandemic started, and I'm very thankful for you. So I'm like, this feels like a throwback for me to get to
I love doing wrapped hoops. I do them so often.
and it's such a good design. So folks, you saw on
It's
the
so
overlay,
versatile.
Rachel is queen of this design. How many pairs of these do you think you've made?
Like in this specific size or
Uh-huh.
like wrapped hoops in general?
All the wrapped hoops.
In this specific size, this exact design, I made like a few, but I couldn't even tell you how many wrapped hoops I've made. I so
It's
many.
because it's a great design, and they hoop earrings obviously are something that
I
are
love hoops.
very sellable. Like people want to purchase them, and then I love that you've adapted it to add on gemmies around the whole hoop. It's almost like
Mhm.
diamond encrusting, but with your favorite gemstone.
It's like a big hoop, but without like. I also like to do the ones that have like a lot of dangles, but sometimes people don't like things that long. And then I also have my little hoops that I do
Let me add your
that are
overhead to
great.
kind of show so we can see kind of what we're talking about here.
So these are the ones we're going to be doing today, slightly modified. Well, not modified, but like with different gems. And let's see if I have a little hoop here I can show. I didn't like think to prep showing that. So this is a design that I've taught in the past, just with different beads.
Oh my gosh, with the opals.
I know I've been on an opal binge. Uh, you can't stop me.
Those are gorgeous.
And then like variations you can do also, or you can add loops to the bottom and make like long dangly hoops. These take so long though.
Wait, you went too fast. I wouldn't even get to see that gorgeousness.
Oh my gosh, I almost knocked everything everywhere. Okay. Here, it's probably better if I lay it flat.
So that's a variation on this design.
Uh-huh. It's a lot more difficult. This one I would say is more of a intermediate to expert. Just like wrapping this bottom part is a little bit of a pain.
Mhm. It's
But
gorgeous.
it's definitely fun to do. I find myself making a lot of these but I'm always like, I have to get like 4 pairs done. It's 4 in the morning right now. Like
So the ones for today, will you give us a little intro about?
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this design, we're gonna be making the hang on. The the hoop, obviously, and then we're gonna be wrapping it. And I'll show you. So when I wrap my hoops, I find it easiest to kind of have like not necessarily a right and a wrong side, but both sides look different with the
Mhm.
wire wrapping. Is that clear?
Um,
So
no, it does better being a little farther away. I also forgot to ask you to try out different lens options on your
I
phone in camo.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, actually, I totally lied. Not in the free version, so never mind. This will work fine.
I can take. I can do.
No,
Oh no!
no,
I
no, won't let
cannot.
you. That's
I
okay.
cannot. So,
I think we can see
um, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, so like the wires, I actually prefer this, but the wires show more on one side versus the other.
okay.
So I always choose to do my wire. I think it like looks a little bit more industrial, but like you can see the gems more on this side. I don't know if you can see what I
Oh
mean.
yeah, definitely.
Um, So there's a way to know that. And then hopefully we'll have time and I'll be able to show you how I like to wrap these little shield prios because they are tricky. So I have like a little hack that I kind of like created for that. And yeah, I'll show you how to wrap them. I just started wrapping these slightly in a different way. You know, like a while back, somebody was like, why don't you preload all the stones? And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then stones would go flying. So we're going to do it a little bit like I'm preloading the stones, which is great because then you don't have to watch me just pick up a stone. I'm not as fast as Danielle.
Well, it's a little harder to pick up a gemmy bead, I find, than a seed bead.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, because you got a needle with seed beads. But where's I going with this? I can also, if we have enough time, I will show. I usually like to use a bigger ear wire on these. I did put the ones that I've taught in the past on here, but I love to use like a bigger, almost like balloon ear wire for the big hoops because I think it just we can totally make this with a Sharpie. Yeah.
Heck yeah, we love a Rachel Mallis Sharpie.
I know. I love my Sharpie. To start, you're gonna need well, I'll just tell you everything you're gonna need. So you're gonna need 18 gauge wire. German style would be great for this design. I'm using sterling, so it's not quite as hard, but the German style would be wonderful because you won't have to work hard in it as much.
Yeah, I have the 18 German style that I'm excited to try right here.
Sam has German style in the shop, so
yeah,
also great. You're gonna need 26 gauge wire. If you're using like glass beads, you could probably get away with 24. With gems, it's going to be a little bit harder to do them with 24. I know originally I did use 24 in this design, but 26 is so much easier.
Okay.
And then you're going to need your gems or your beads, obviously. These are 3.3 millimeter fluorite. So I can't give you an exact number on how many you're going to need because it just kind of depends on what size gems you're using, what size beads. Around probably 30 to 40 per earring. I know it seems like a lot, but I did not use the whole strand when I made these. I had leftovers.
Right. If you have a strand, you'll have more than enough.
Yeah. And then you're going to need whatever you want your focal to be. So today, I think I'm going to use these really gorgeous ocean jasper and these African green jade faceted teardrop prios. I think they're pretty together.
Nice
and
the ones in the earrings are more fluorine and ametrine. So I think all those beads we still have available at the shop. If folks want to like exactly replicate what Rachel's doing today, you can do that. We have the ametrine, we have the fluorite, and then that ocean jasper and African jade is also available in the shop right now.
And then you're gonna need tools. So I use this. Sam has it in the shop. Yeah, I actually. Funny is I found that this is not big enough for my hoops. I want them to be giant, so I actually use the handle to make it. Yes, I do. So you can really make your hoops whatever size you want. I like them giant. Another option, if you don't have this, you could use like an empty pill bottle. Like a prescription bottle probably be a good size. And then you will need round nose pliers. I highly recommend getting step bail making pliers. If you, when I bought these, I was like, I'm not going to use those. I don't make bails. But I use them all the time and I love to use them for this.
I think we have those in the shop actually.
You do. Yeah. I think they should be linked. So these are great.
We have the blog post. We have our new blog and it's linked below this video. It has all the supplies for these earrings. I think it's linked for the fluorite ametrine version below.
Okay, and then you're going to need, do I use the flat nose and chain nose in this? I think I do.
Probably.
I don't know. Chain nose is always good to have around. I don't even, it's probably just to hold something, but, and then flush cutters and a hammer. If you're using German style wire, you can use a metal hammer if you want. You can use a nylon hammer if you want. It just kind of depends on what you want it to look like. I like things to look flat. And I also think it's a little bit easier to wrap onto the hoops when you, especially when you're just starting, is if every, like when they're round, every angle is the same, but when they're flattened in one part, it kind of gives something the wire to like grip onto, so they're not like sliding all around. And you can use any old hammer. This is junk, and I love it. This is my junky hammer.
Jewelry hammer would be like one side has a flat side and one side has like a ball peen. So that's the one we have in the shop. And we also have some nylon blocks you can use. We don't currently have steel blocks. You could pick one of those up as well. They're also really great to have around for what Rachel's going to be doing today.
Yeah, you could use your cast iron like Sam did a while
back. No, it wasn't smooth enough. It didn't work that well.
It was a little loud. Recommend earplugs.
That was a moment when I couldn't find my bench block.
That was so funny. Okay. Train of thought just went. Okay. We're gonna start. So we're gonna start by making the hoop. Okay. And I usually like to work from the spool or just cut like a really long piece because I think it's so much easier, especially when you're working with 18 gauge. Sorry, I just read Wanda's comment. Anyway, when you're using 18 gauge, I find like if I only exactly give myself enough, like it's so much more difficult to work with it.
Yeah.
So just give yourself some extra. With German style, like it's really affordable. So like using a little extra is okay. And you can probably repurpose it for something else. I find the more extra I have, the more usable it is for another project. Yeah. So don't be afraid of cutting your wire a little longer. And if it is like silver or copper, it can melt it back down. So that's what I love. I'm like, I'll just recycle it. Okay, so we're going to start this. I am going to start by cutting with my flush cutters to make the end flush. And then if you are using the stepped bail making pliers, and I'll show you for what, but if you have them, when we make our loop, because we're going to make our simple loop for the top of this first.
Okay.
If you can make it to where the smallest thing of the step bail making pliers fits inside of the loop, it's going to be really easy for us to do this loop. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but so when you're making this, let's see, I'd say probably.
Can I just use the bail making pliers to make the first loop?
Yeah, you could. I don't like to use them actually for making loops.
It's a little bit extra. It's a little clunkier, but it does work.
Yeah. I'm just so used to. There's such a new tool for me, and I'm so used to using round nose pliers for everything for so long. Like, it throws me off to try and make loops with these. Okay, so yeah, my piece that I bended over was just like a little shy of 1/2 inch.
Oh, it worked. Heck yeah.
Yay. Okay, and then you're going to take your Wanda's so funny. Okay, and then you're going to take your pliers and you're going to put them right under the loop, and we're going to be bending this at a 90-degree angle, and that is just giving you the space to where you're going to wrap your wire.
So there's like a gap and then you bent it 90 degrees?
I put the pliers here, and then I bent it 90 degrees over the edge of the plier. Okay. I really like to use the pliers for that and just put it like right up against the loop, because then I can get a consistent amount of space there. Okay. Then we are going to take our mandrel and we're going to bend the wire around it. My phone is very close to this. There we go. Okay. So bend the wire around, and you want to make sure that you do like push this part down at some point. But if you, it's easier to kind of like start in the middle when you're bending around, and we're going to make another one so you can watch me again. I know I did it kind of fast, but you do want this at some point to be like touching down as much as you can. And then you're just going to come in with the wire, and you can twist the wire around, or you can twist the tool. I like to twist the tool. It's like you're like, you know what's so funny is when I first started opening bottles of wine, I had one of the like wine keys, and I would twist the bottle instead of the wine key. And I was like, man, how does everyone do this? This is such a pain. Okay, and then you're gonna cut it. And you can cut it on here, or you can cut it when you take it off. And oh yeah, this is what we use the chain nose pliers for, tucking. Duh. I'm gonna cut it a little bit more.
I was like, there's no way Rachel's not going to use her chain nose pliers.
I knew I wrote them down for a reason, but I couldn't remember what the reason was. I love chain nose pliers.
Chain nose pliers are like extensions of your hand. Like
they're like bread and butter. Yeah. Bread and butter if we were gonna eat this.
But like if my fingers were like, obviously I would tuck that wire in with my fingers if I could, but I can't. So I need these are my fingers.
I don't want to try. That sounds painful. Okay, I don't actually know if this piece of wire is big enough for me to do that again and again. Like I said, let's not make things too hard for ourselves. Let's get some more wire out. All right.
And if you're like me and you misshape your loop while like cutting, tucking, I always just put it right back onto the tool.
Yeah, I do it so much. I'll like put it back on. And the nice thing about this is like, even though you can't tell, it is slightly tapered. So nice. You can push it all the way up.
Oh, that's satisfying.
Yeah, so I'm like straightened. Ooh, I'll show you something else with this after too. Okay. We're gonna do it again. So I have 2 pairs of flush cutters I switch between, and I will tell you why. Because these were more expensive, and I'm worried I'm gonna mess them up.
Yeah, and so certain flush cutters are graded for.
I know that these are safe to use with 18 gauge, but I'm still like treating them like precious.
Yeah, I mean, they'll last so much like longer.
20 pliers on my desk right now. It's just a pile. Okay, so we're gonna make that bend again and just make it into a simple loop. And one tip, if you're new to simple loops, is you don't want your wire poking out from in between the pliers. Like you want to be able to see it, but you don't want to be able to like feel it if you run your finger right here. And that'll make sure that the loop is more round as opposed to like a oval.
Mm-hmm. Also, that is one of the best tips I ever got from Rachel. So listen to her.
Listen to me. My boyfriend doesn't, but I am always right. And then we're going to bend again. So I'm putting my pliers way up against the loop and bending 90 degrees. Okay. And then to go around, see, I push this a little bit out because I find it's a lot easier to do it this way rather than trying to like position this on. So I have it like partially out and then push it on. Okay. And then.
Yeah, I'm using the 18 gauge German style right now. It's working really nicely.
I think that the dead soft that I use is good, but you have to hammer it so much more than you have to hammer German style. Because it is like still like a little bit malleable even after that wasn't a very good cut. There we go.
I totally forgot that this loop starts with a simple loop because the design looks like a wrapped loop.
I know it does. I think that starting it with a wrap, starting it with a wrap loop wouldn't work because then how would you connect the ends together?
Of what?
Like, so the wrapping we're doing to make it look like a wrapped loop.
Yeah, you'd have to wrap it from the top and bottom.
Yeah, it'd just be like a lot of wire.
Yeah, but I
But
love wire.
you you could do that and put like a stone on before, or like a glass bead or something like I did with the small ones. You could totally, with the small ones we make the simple loop. Well, I guess you could do a wrap loop and then you put the stone on and then you come back around and you wrap there. So you could totally do it like that. Next, we're gonna hammer these. So like I said, you can use a nylon hammer and a metal hammer, both of which Sam has. And you're gonna notice kind of, you want to identify the right and the wrong side, and you want your wires to kind of be the same amount of loops if you can. So usually I cut kind of midway on my third wire on one side. And that way you can't see it from the other side. So I like to use the side that has just 2 wires because I think it looks more consistent. Straighten out. I feel like my loops like sometimes are a little bit sideways. These are things that only you will notice, but they might drive you crazy. This one I just like misshaped a little bit. All right, so you can just put them back on the mandrel if you want to. Or you can drop them everywhere. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Who needs them?
Right. Let's get rid of these. It's not like we needed them. Okay. So I am going to work hard on it. And like I said, I'm going to flatten mine a little bit because that is what I like. And
that's the best sound ever. I don't know why I find that so satisfying.
Usually I have like big headphones on, so I'm not used to being able to hear it.
The microphone seems to handle it well, which is nice. I don't know how it does for mine.
It sounds like somebody's trying to break down your door. Oh, and I'm going to use the back design, I'm going to hammer the back.
I am, of course, once again missing my steel bench block. I found it like 2 weeks ago, and it's already gone.
I bet Rachel took it.
I always
for her seed beads, you know.
I just glanced over at her little seed beading table over there. I don't think it's there because
if you guys did not see Rachel's class the other day, amazing. I have to make that design too. It was so good. It took me a really long time to figure out that it was recorded. She was like liking things, and I was like, "How is she liking things but making this at the same time?" Like,
no, it's great. I really we wanted to try out the format where she was able to fast forward while she was doing some of the interim stuff, and like, I don't know, I thought it'd be fun.
It was great. I loved her being able, because she was able to answer all the questions without having to stop the video. So I'm also going to hammer the top part a little bit, and I'm going to do it like really delicately. I just kind of like the look it gives when it's like slightly flattened. And also, if you didn't do a very good job tucking in your wire, it kind of helps. You can hammer it on both sides if you want. Just kind of depends, but I do really like the little like divot it creates. Let's do the other one, and then I'll show you the other thing I wanted to say.
I feel like I gave my bench block a new home when I was cleaning my everything.
I feel like at this point you should just buy a second one.
I think I theoretically do have to. Where is it?
Did you take it to the shop?
Oh,
are you at the shop?
Probably. It's probably at the shop. I keep bringing my stuff there, and then oh yeah, that's probably it.
So what we're learning is you should have shop tools, and you have most of the tools at the shop. Just like steal some from inventory.
Well, we actually do have mostly a second set of tools at the shop at this point. Because I'm just wanting to get this a little bit more hammered that I'm not being able to get right now. I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Okay. So I got this hammered. One thing I wanted to show, I don't have I don't remember what pair of earrings I made that I did this, but one thing that's cool that you can do when you have the hoop is you can also kind of squeeze the sides and make it like if you wanted to make an oval hoop. This was really beautiful. I made them recently. I don't remember. Oh, they're these. I forgot about these. Okay. Ooh, and these have ocean jasper too, actually. I think I got these bloodstones from you, Sam. But you can make them like more of an oval if you want. Just like a different shape if you don't want them to be round. If you need them to be longer or anything. And if you don't want it to be like that, you can squeeze it back. These are still like a little malleable even after hammering, but it doesn't bother me. Once you put the gems on there, it's not really going to be, yeah. And nobody's going to be like to the earring unless they like stick them in the bottom of their purse like I do. and you know, come out pretty fine. Yeah, like I'll clean out my purse and I'll be like, oh, I forgot about these. Like I'm not do not take jewelry storage advice from me. Absolutely not. I will, if I want to take it off, I'll put it in my pocket. Anyway, okay, so from here we are going to cut some 26 gauge wire. Yeah, and I am going to cut it really long. You're probably going to think that's really long because it is. For two reasons. Number one, I said that before I even thought of that there is definitely two reasons. There might be more than two. There might be less. No, it's actually not. It's not enough for both earrings. One of the reasons is just in case it happens to like take you more wire. You have extra to play with, and I'll show because we're going to be doing this a little bit differently to get this loop because we don't have the loop on the smaller pair. So we're going to be doing this a little bit differently, and then it's also to give you enough to like wrap in the end.
Mm-hmm. What?
I was reading the comments, but I'm trying to figure out what they're referencing. Anyway,
it's nice to talk about like, do we have neighbors that are going to care about this hammering? Oh yeah, my downstairs neighbor works right below me. She will hear that the hammering I just did, 100%.
I feel like, well, I don't know. The neighbor on that side is the elevator, so hammer all I want. And we're like right above the lobby too, so there's no one below me.
Yeah, you're fine.
I could like jump up and down all day if I wanted to. Like people walking through the lobby might be like the ceiling is falling, but but I won't wake anyone. All
right, so how much wire am I cutting here?
You don't remember that number that I told you 5 minutes ago?
No, I don't.
Actually, I don't even know if I said. So I used 28 inches, partially because my bead mat is 14 inches long, and I was just like, doo. But also, yeah, like I said, it's just good to have extra. I feel like I misshaped this one a little bit.
Ooh, this 26 is a lot softer to use. Okay, this is going to be nice.
Yeah, it's great. And you don't have to worry about, like, if you're using, like, Indian cut gems, sometimes the holes are a little bit smaller, and you really don't want to use 24 gauge for that. You don't want to ever, with small gems, with, like, brios, you don't ever want the wire to be, like, really taking up the whole hole because you run the risk of breaking the bead. You know, the weakest point of a bead is the hole.
Correct.
I learned that from you, but also it makes sense. So
yeah, I say this every time because there's always someone who hasn't heard it yet. I just think it's so funny with the time that a bead seller told me once was like, you know, like my beads would be the strongest they could be if they didn't have holes. But then we've come full circle and we no longer have beads.
Have you seen I saw this video on the Facebook Watch algorithm knows exactly, well,
Oh,
it
it's
knows
really
what I want to
dangerous.
see. Reels wise, it does not know what I want to see. It is always showing me pregnant women. I don't know why. This is not in my cards right now or anytime soon. So I'm like, why are you showing me this? But
I feel
anyway,
it's
my
algorithm is
Facebook
such
Watch section is, you can find the coolest videos of people, how things are made like in other countries. It is insane. It is awesome. However, when they cut gem spears, they waste so much stone. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's where gemstone chips come from.
Gosh. Okay, well, at least they're reusing it. I love chips. I love gemstone chips. I think they are so versatile. Okay, so I went ahead and cut both my wires, so I don't have to do it later. So 28 inches ish. And we are going to do two things. First, I'm gonna take these off of the string. I wish they would just use white string for everything. The fluorite was on like this green string also, and I was like, this fluorite doesn't look like it has any purple in it. And I took it off the string and I was like, oh, this fluorite's amazing. It's just
Are you
this.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hate that. It grinds my gears.
Yeah. Or like they'll put like rose quartz on like a pink string, and so you don't realize that they like picked like the lightest color rose quartz they could. And you're like, okay, this is white.
I told this to some of the manufacturers in Tucson. I was like, I dream of clear white string, neutrals. Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna leave them, and then we'll scoop them up later. So you're gonna take your wire, and at this point you need to decide if you want more wire to be showing or you want more gem to be showing.
Okay. Okay.
See the difference. So whatever side you've deemed to be the front. I like more wire to be showing, so I'm gonna have that facing me. I'm gonna stick my wire through the back so it's like coming out over the left side. And I'm gonna actually probably pull out like 6 inches. And I'm gonna first I'm gonna do it on this side. I don't know why I'm doing this. And I'm gonna bring it towards me. So if you want it to be more gem, like you want to see more gems as opposed to more wire, you're gonna want to flip the hoop so that it's the wrong side is forward. And then you just follow my exact directions. But that way you'll just flip it over at the end and the gems will be more focal. I love the industrial look of the
that's
wire there.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
It's like
and you know what? If you wrap it wrong, it's not the end of the world. You're really probably the only one that's gonna notice.
Yeah, but I think because it looks like a little metal spacer between every gem.
Yeah. And we are gonna wrap a little metal spacer in between every gem, but like you can see the difference. See, there's more wire showing on this one. I've just flipped the other one upside down, but so it's really up to you. Okay, so like I said, I stuck the wire through this way, and I've got like 6 inches to the side. And then I'm gonna do like 5 loops.
Okay.
And I'm gonna push them in really tight. And I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not taking the end of my wire and like pushing it through. I find that doing it that way a lot of the times creates so many knots. I almost never get wire kink knots by doing it this way. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it through, so making like a little bubble. I don't know a better word. And then I'm just pulling it the rest of the way through.
That's the next tip I feel like that really stuck with me because I was getting so many kinks on my wire.
Getting wire kinks, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, I'm over this. We don't need this in our life.
I have the worst pair of nylon jaws that I bought like 15 years ago because I don't use them. And so having to straighten out wire is just like the worst. Okay, so you want like 5 loops. And the reason you want 5 loops is because when we make our loop in the middle, we're going to be wrapping extra on the other side. We're going to do that later, but you just want the amount of wraps on each side to be kind of even. So 5 or
Okay.
6, up to you. It just kind of depends on how many times you plan to. That is 5. Do that. Okay, and so my loose piece of wire, I am going to wrap once under here. This is just to anchor it. Don't do it tight. Just
Okay.
anchor it. And then get all this extra wire out of my way, and I'm just going to kind of wrap it messy around the top. It'll be fine.
Is there a reason why we don't make the top loop now?
The technique I'm going to use to do it, where I'm going to, I should take this ear wire off so I can show you kind of. So we're gonna use the round nose or the bail making pliers and do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I do it the other way. No. Oh my gosh. This is why I love the stringing thing we're gonna do in a second, because itty bitties everywhere is like my day-to-day life. It is a nightmare. They just go everywhere. Anyway, so it is easier to keep the pliers in place and keep everything from sliding around if there are beads on this side to because otherwise when I put the pliers here, it moves the loops we just did over. In my experience.
Okay.
It's less fussy and you get it more centered and you don't have to worry about like big gaps if you do it towards the end.
Okay.
So get this wire on that side. Go away. All right, now we're gonna load them up. Gonna do like a bunch of beads. So, and this is cool too, because then you can kind of like get your pattern going or your random pattern. I don't know. When you randomize a pattern yourself, it's never truly random, but
I'm using pyrite, so I have no pattern.
right.
Mine is all metallic.
Love that.
So
we're gonna do.
You wire your
What?
beads. It looks like you wire your beads versus beading your wire.
What?
You know, like how I see what I'm doing here is I'm like placing each bead onto the wire. You're picking up the beads with the wire. So that to me, that's like wiring your beads, like threading. Like,
I find this to be
thread.
easier than picking them up individually. Also, like my hands are kind of sweaty right now. It's hot in here, so that's not gonna work. Sorry if that's TMI. We had the window open, but I was worried. Like sometimes it's pretty quiet, but if people we're like right by the parking lot, and sometimes people are really obnoxious in the parking lot, so it was better to close the window.
Oh, you mean that back parking lot? Wait, you mean the back parking lot next to you that's full of ice cream trucks?
No.
I don't remember you having a parking lot.
There's a parking lot for our building, but it only has like 10 spots. But people are very loud in it a lot of the time.
There's like a parking lot that you can see from Rachel's apartment or from the roof where it's like 100 Mr. Softy trucks.
Yeah. And what's funny is I never hear ice cream trucks around here ever. They just park there. Like they don't want to service this area with ice cream apparently. Anyway, I'm trying to load on like I think I'm gonna do like 36 beads. I think I used 34 last time, but these are a little bit smaller, and if I have extra, like it'll just be really easy to undo it. So you'll see. You'll see.
Susie says your look was priceless when I asked you that question.
I was like, what is he talking about?
Okay, I think I have enough. It's so hard. I guess I haven't made hoops this big. I'll do some extras.
Yeah, they're pretty big. 4, 5. But I also I've always for most of my life had really long hair. And my hair is dark, so like if I put little earrings in, nobody's even gonna see them.
So we're gonna have to pull all these beads through every wrap?
Yeah, it'll be fine. The hoops are really big, so it's really easy. This technique, I don't know if I would do this many on the smaller hoop. I haven't tried it out with the smaller hoop yet. I just started doing it this way. I've got 30. I need like 6 more. But for the big hoops, it's really not an issue. And it does save you a lot of time because I find that when I have to go and pick up each bead, it like takes a little longer. And bonus, we're gonna scoop up all these beads and move them so that they don't go flying every time my wire goes near them. And come on. Come on, baby.
Folks are curious what size beads you're using here.
These are 3.1 millimeters. I love 3 millimeters for this design in particular, but you could use smaller. You could use a little bit bigger. I mean, these hoops are pretty big, so 4 millimeters, 4.5 would probably work fine. You can play around. I don't usually. I'm really like an itty bitty person. Not height wise, but like.
Well, you're not. You are.
No, I mean, I guess compared to like Shira, I did not know she was tall. She is so tall. Every time she sends me a picture, I'm like, are all of these people tall or are you bending over? Anyway, so I'm gonna scoop up the beads and I'm gonna move them.
I need a design opinion, Rachel.
Okay.
So I like laid out a couple combos here. This one was pyrite, and then these howlites from the competition kit.
I love those howlites.
Aren't they fun? I was like,
I love that shape.
And then here's the 4 millimeter droogs from the competition kit. I didn't pick out them yet, and I already loaded up my pyrite. And then my third idea here was this is like a 5 or 6 millimeter fire polish, and then I put some crystal drops for the center,
so
which is
the only thing with the fire polish. They're a little long, so I don't know how easy it's going to be to wrap them around because we're only using like 18 gauge wire.
Yeah, because I guess I could also like even actually with the pyrite, if I wanted to like crystal like sparkle grunge crystals with dark.
Wait, do you have those in the shop?
I think we definitely have some crystals in the shop. We're like always getting more from TierCast, so definitely look up.
Those would be so pretty with this design. So if you use those, you're going to need a jump ring. I don't have jump ring in the original instructions.
I can swing that. I can
yeah.
swing that. Okay, I think I have a plan then.
I love it. Or you can make one of each earring and then never finish them as per usual, you know.
Hey,
actually, that's not fair because you have been finishing a lot of projects lately.
Thank you.
You used to not. Okay, so
anyway,
what we're gonna do to the end, I tested like a couple little things for this, and like silly as it seems, putting a wrapped loop here is gonna be the best bet. I like tried like folding the wire over and the beads would still slip through it, and it was just like a pain. It was getting caught on everything. So just make like a little wrapped loop here. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna cut it off. But it's just gonna keep your beads from, you know, flying off the end and getting played with by your cat or whatever. Stepping on them, you know. So I'm just going to do like a tiny wrap loop, and you can, I like to kind of crush the loop, but I don't know if that's necessary. But I just try to make it like as inobtrusive as possible for when I'm pulling it through the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I should have like mostly completed one of them so you didn't have to watch me wrap this whole hoop, but
no, I love, we're here for you, Rachel.
So I'm gonna put my my bead right up against my finger. I've got the first one, and then I'm gonna push my wire through, holding the bead in place. You see how easy that went through? And then I'm gonna wrap one more time. And I just
was fine.
Huh?
It works fine with all the beads loaded on.
Yeah, you wrapped up the end, right? Because it doesn't work fine if you don't wrap up the end. I promise you. Yeah. It is not going to go well for you.
This is game changer for me.
Yeah, so you wrap the first one, and then I wrap a just like a blank loop, basically, not a loop. I wrap around one time without a bead for security and also spacing, because the beads when you push it up, the wire kind of goes over at like a cool angle. I think it actually adds like a really cool design feature, but also you know, the beads are round, so there is going to be where they're like would be butting up and there would be like a little gap, but by putting the wrap there, everything looks like nice and together.
Okay.
All right.
It's so cool to see how this design's evolved over the last 2 years now.
I know, I love it. And I've actually I learned a couple tips like the ones that have the loops on the bottom. I actually learned, I probably could have figured it out myself, but like I adapted it from something that Sarah taught in one of her classes.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you teach, you can still learn from other people.
Mm-hmm.
You can always learn. People ask me like, why don't you do it this way? And I'm like, I never thought about doing it that way. So
I think it's why beaders often have like pretty good spirits, is because we're always forcing ourselves to try even small things.
mm-hmm.
And like there's so much brain science to like making your brain have to absorb new information and try new things that like keeps it really active and engaged. So like,
I feel like my beading skills have made me like the best problem solver. Like I'm good at problem solving, even like, I don't want to say like in real life, like beading isn't real life, but you know what I mean. Like outside of beading.
yeah.
I feel like I've become like a great problem solver because I'm just always having to try and think of like how I want to execute certain designs.
How much do you like push up each bead as you go?
I push them together as close as they will go.
Let me kind of show you where mine's at and see if you think it's good.
I think it's bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, I cannot see it, but
let's see. So I've been kind of pushing them up a bit as I go.
You don't really have nails, but I always try to keep like a little bit of a thumbnail, and you can do it without one. But I just push together literally like as close as they will go.
Okay.
If you need to at the end, you'll be able to like space them out. Like say you can't fit one more bead and you just need to space them all out a little bit. Like you could totally do that. But I like for them to be as tight as possible. Okay. And then every time you need a new bead, just slide it down.
That's the new piece to me here, is like it's sliding one down instead of threading it on.
Yeah, it's great. Like you can, this also makes it like you could prep like a billion of these and take them on vacation with you and just like wrap them.
Whoa.
You have all your beads in one.
Marley Beth says, she said, I learned how to laugh at myself when I mess something up.
The best is when you mess something up and 111 people are watching you. Do you ever see? No, I should bring this up. I feel so bad for her. But at like the Oscars, like 10 years ago, Jennifer Lawrence tripping, and it was like all over everywhere. Like, I was like, that would be me. Yeah.
But that's when everyone fell in love with her.
Stairs and I like do not like. I can do stairs, but I have fallen down the stairs so many times in my life. Because I'm not graceful. My first like couple months in New York, I fell down the stairs at the subway station.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
And I had a huge bruises, and you know everyone saw. That's not the first time. That's not the last time I've fallen at the subway station.
Wait, it was in the subway. Oh no.
Oh yeah. So I was like, ugh. But luckily, like COVID hadn't started yet, so at least you know I wasn't as germophobic as I am now. So I was just upset. Upset.
The New York subway's never been particularly clean.
No, it has not. Yeah. Just some stations are cleaner than others.
I like
some stations I wouldn't be at night, but
that's not a germ problem.
Yeah.
that's not a related thing.
I mean, germ-wise also, I feel like.
Also possible.
Yeah.
Susie says she uses her most gnarly nylon jaw pliers to push her beads together.
I only have nylon jaw pliers. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, Susie. Mine are also very gnarly, but I only have one pair, so I guess they are both my most gnarly and my least gnarly. I guess they're not that bad, but they're definitely old. I used to have, I love these. I think these are the reason, like the tiny pliers that I used to use all the time. I think the reason, like, I slightly have carpal tunnel now is because of these tiny pliers and the fact that I was using them so many years with no balance and no like
Yeah, that
support.
was amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm like in my mind, I'm like watching Rachel's tutorial from the other day from when she's speeding it up, and I'm like, I have to go that fast.
I'm enjoying the comments right now. Marley Beth said, I find myself talking to the beads when they go flying everywhere too, and then laugh out loud when I realize those beads are not going to answer.
I don't love it, especially because half the time when the beads go flying, like I only have a finite amount and then I have to find them. Or if the cat is nearby, he has already found them and kicked them across the room.
I tell folks when they're bagging at the shop, like it's like they'll like, especially someone who's just starting, like they'll like we'll be like working on like how to process inventory and whatnot, and like how to like weigh out, how to do quality sorting, and like sometimes the bead like a few loose beads will go flying, and they'll get up and start looking for them. I was like, don't stress.
You should make like special Sam's Bead Shop bead soup that is just like an order add-on for like $1. You can get bead soup, like a little
Like we
10
literally
gram bag of
sweep
bead
the
soup.
floors and find ounces of beads.
Yeah.
We just have to keep them out of the walkway so we don't trip and die. Yeah. Sorry, that was morbid. You know, like we don't injure ourselves. Because I'm just like, you know, like especially if it's like just like a little check glass drook, don't stress about it. It will find it when we're supposed to find it.
And luckily you wear shoes at the shop because it's probably the law. I don't know.
We do wear shoes in the office.
So it's not like at home when you like step on a bead, although quite honestly, after my brother, I have a little brother and he loved Thomas the Tank Engine when he was a kid, and you know, nothing will ever compare to stepping on a metal Thomas the Tank Engine. So at this point in time, anytime I step on something that is not a metal Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm like, you know, it could be worse.
Oh gosh, this reminds me of a story I think I must have told you at some point. I don't know if it was on camera. Was the great Hanukkah story of my family. I shall tell it again. My goodness. This is like a notorious thing that happened to my family. This is years back on Hanukkah. So if you're not familiar, one activity you do on Hanukkah is you play dreidel, or you spin the dreidel. What's the game? I don't know you play dreidel. You spin the dreidel.
It's
whatever.
Just dreidel. I thought, yeah,
like you spin the dreidel. You try to win gelt, which are like the chocolate gold coins. And my poor mom. And it's just, I fully understand it's awful to be laughing at this, but we laughed as a family. And like, she's walking across the room and steps on that dreidel. And every sentence and answer that has ever existed erupts out of her. And, oh god, she's gonna hate that I'm telling this story. And we got it on tape. So we were able to watch back the great Hanukkah story.
I have a worse one.
And then the whole family just couldn't stop laughing, and we have it on camera, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, so at my sister's 8th birthday party, we were doing piñata outside in the dark. It was a sleepover party. It was dark outside. And I was barefoot and in front of like 13 8-year-olds. I was bit on the foot by a scorpion.
Okay.
And the words that came out of my mouth were not 8-year-old appropriate, and my parents were also taping it. So, and that was brought up for many years to come. Luckily, we lived in Georgia, so like the scorpion wasn't going to kill me, but yeah.
Were you like swelling up? Like what happens?
So, well, it wasn't like one of like the super poisonous ones. It was just one of the unpleasant ones. So, it like really hurt, and I had like a stinger bite or whatever, but like, and I think we called like poison control, and they were just like, "You're fine."
That's it. That they didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
No, they don't.
Well, I hope those children have. It was a growing up moment for them.
Yeah, hopefully they don't remember. I don't know. Nobody's ever come and yelled at me about it, so they probably it was just par for the course. I don't know.
Vera's curious if you're adding a focal bead to the center. I think we are.
Yes,
indeed.
we are. We're gonna do that at the end. Partially because of the way that I like. Oh, I found a jasper. Okay. The way that we're gonna do the loop, because we don't have the loop done yet, and also because it's so much easier to wrap this when there's not something dangling in my way.
Yeah.
You don't
Rachel,
have to worry.
these larger hoops take a lot longer to do.
I'm almost done-ish.
You're speedy. I'm like, I gotta pick up my pace here.
It's the loading the beads. I'm telling you, it really changed my speed. But like the dangle hoops that I showed you before, those take like 2 hours. They take so long. And also like I have a little bit of ADHD, and also I don't always like making the loops on those, so they really take me like 3 or 4 hours because I just stare at them for a while usually.
the dangly dangles, yeah.
Yeah, I just like I'm gonna love how these turn out, but I do not want to do this. Like,
Do you watch a lot of stuff while you do those sorts of longer?
yeah, I do. I'm trying to like get to a point to where I am watching more educational stuff, not necessarily jewelry education, just like educational, because I feel like I just, the amount of my life that I have watched Criminal Minds, it's just like, if you think about it, there's like 15 seasons. Oh, guess they're making more. And the amount of my life I've spent watching that show. I love it though. Okay, we're at a point to where we can probably go ahead and put our loop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And like I said, the reason I didn't do this at the beginning is because the pliers will shift these wires before there's stuff to kind of like block them in. And it'll be just like a lot more difficult. So I'm going to unwind my wire. If you have nylon jaws, you could totally like straighten this out, or you can do it with your fingers. It's not a big deal. Okay, and then I'm just going to unloop this little loop that I had done on here. And we're going to pull it tight just so that it's not going to go anywhere. Then, this is a little tricky. This is why I had you make the loop the size to where these can fit in. This is the easiest way I have come up with to do this. But yeah, you see kind of how I don't know if you can see that the way that these bail making pliers are actually kind of pushing my loops over a little bit. That is way worse if you don't have the beads to I can't. Here we go. Focus, please. Focus. Come on, guys.
There you go. That's perfect.
Now you can see more of my chaos. Anyway, so it kind of pushes over the wires, and when there's no beads there to like hold them in place, like it's so difficult. Yeah. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come around the bottom of here, and then we're going to come back over the top and make our loops. You could go around the back, but I find that the loops just lie a little bit better when you continue kind of going in the way that you were already going, if that makes sense. So you're going to pull it as tight as you can, and you're going to take it around, and you could pull your pliers out at this point, but I find that the loops have a mind of their own. And it's just like, if you can leave the pliers in there, everything's just going to be a lot more easy for you, or a lot easier. I guess more easy wasn't incorrect, but easier would be more correct. Okay, so I'm just going to do like 3 little loops, and then I like to take my chain nose and just pull the loops tight. You can shimmy these out. Okay. And then we're gonna cut it. I'm just kind of looking at it because I don't want to have too many loops because I did 5 on the other side, and I am gonna kind of fix this. There we go. And I try to keep my wire cuts if I can to the back side.
Kind of hide the end.
Yeah. It's something like nobody's super gonna notice, but
I know. I
and
always
then
on the
yeah.
back.
And then I'm gonna push my loops in, and you can just kind of like play with the shape of the loop if you like it. If you don't, there's my loop. And now we're gonna finish the wrapping part. I hope I have enough beads. Like I said, these are a little bit of a size, smaller size than the ones I used in the last one, but I don't think like 0.2 millimeters was going to be that big a difference. But I can always put more on because I did not use up the whole strand yet.
Nice.
I still have at least half of it, if not more. And this is a perfect project for that one special strand of itty bitties,
Well, so we got the sapphire ones in Tucson. They're making more for me.
I have some of the sapphire ones. The sapphire, I'll show you a combination that I was also thinking of with beads from the shop too.
I love that blue sapphire. So
Oh, it looks like I am going to have enough. I always worry. I'm like, I'm not going to have enough. I even strung like extra because I was like, you're going to do that thing where you think you don't have enough, but you do. Okay, so now we are at the end. I'm not going to be able to fit another bead. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 more wraps. Or did I do 5 on the other side or 6?
5.
I did 5. So I'm going to do 2 more wraps. And pull it real tight either with your hand or your pliers. Oh, look, I only had 1 extra bead. Perfect. And this amount of wire that I have left over, like it's really not as much as like I feel like you think it's going to be. But it's the perfect amount. I can make it at least like a few wrapped things with this. So it's perfect. Okay.
You could wrap a brio with it.
You could, probably. I'd have to measure it. I like to give myself like 6 inches for brios, even though 4 probably is more than adequate. Okay, and I have like a little gap, so I'm actually just going to kind of go around and space everything out a little bit. Just lightly tug on it. Okay. Now I am going to wrap a brio. I don't think this is enough for the brio I want to wrap though, because I'm going to use these. These are such a great size for this project.
It's like a little larger brio.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like I don't have any brios this size. Look at that. That's going to be so pretty. This is one of the more tricky parts, I will say, of this project. I do need more wire. I don't know why I didn't just like cut myself some more.
Yo,
you know what? I think I did use my scraps for the ametrine because it was a little bit smaller, but I want a bigger piece.
Yeah, y'all grab some of that African green jade from the shop while we still have it.
It's really pretty. I love the green shade. It looks so pretty with the ocean jasper too. Where's the end? Okay. I saw somebody like invented something to help you find the end of like masking tape. Genius. This is gonna be way too big. Let's do like 6 inches. It should be like here-ish. Okay. My little scraps. So you can do this a regular way, or you can do it this way. I'm going to show you right now. Which is, I do hope I have enough for this. I don't usually wrap this big of a brio. We'll see. Let's try it out. So I'm pinching my wires together, and at this point you could just do it like regular, just like wrap a little thing. But one thing I also like to do is I like to twist the wires together. And this works. This is the same technique I was going to show you for the what are these called again? the the shield cut brios. I find that the twisting is just like helps really secure it and keep it in place.
I am obsessed. I just did the bail making plier trick, and I am like literally.
I know it makes it 1,000 times easier. Trust me.
It was so for everyone who hits this issue, I had to open up my loop a little bit because it like had shrunken down a tiny bit. So I just opened up the simple loop, and then I'm just going to close it back down. But look how nice that bottom loop there is. It's so satisfying.
This is 26 gauge wire. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me see your loop.
Okay, let me zoom in. It's so satisfying. I've never been able to make a loop like that.
It looks great, right? This is the best hat.
Oh, it was so satisfying, like that these fit in like so nicely. You almost get stuck, which is like nice because it creates good tension and like.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a good tip.
Debbie is saying that we should see how Sarah made her loop today, so I'm definitely curious.
Yeah, I want to see how she did it too.
Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna I've just wrapped like a little bit. This is maybe an inch, maybe a little less, 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna make my loop, like my wrapped loop, and you'll find that twisting the wire just makes it.
Bad moment.
What? Oh,
right.
I'm sorry.
I
didn't realize I wasn't on screen. So, so I twisted my wire, and then I bent just a little bit over and made my loop. Twisting the wire, I feel helps keep the brio in place a little bit more because the wire's tighter. You know, like when I'm wrapping brios, I'm always fighting the brio, like going whatever way you want, like it wants to go like this. Like that's hard to wrap. But when you twist the wire, it makes it a little bit tighter. So I say that, and now it's doing exactly what I don't want it to do. So there we go. Okay. And then you could twist all the way to the end of the wire if you wanted to. I usually just twist a little bit and then just finish it like normal. Oh, you know what? We were supposed to connect this. Did you make a brio already? Because we were supposed to connect this.
I haven't done mine.
Okay, cool. We're gonna do it again, so you'll get to see it. Yay! Perfect.
Well, I'm just using the jump rig because I'm just using the crystal, so I get a pass tonight.
You could probably, if you did do your brio wrap, you could totally use a jump ring. I don't use a lot of jump rings. I find that I never know what size I want, and when I order them, I feel like they're never the same size that I think they're going to be.
Yeah. I love.
I just really don't use them. I love the oval jump rings though. Like I think a round would probably be better for this project, but like oval jump rings I do really like. Okay, let's try that again. Take 2. I'm gonna put the wire through. I'm gonna center it. And then we're gonna twist. You can twist the bead or the wire. I like to kind of twist the bead and get it up in there. And like I said, you can also twist the wire all the way up. I'm just gonna go. This is like 3/4 inch. Let's see. That's centimeters. All right, this is 5/8 of an inch. Not quite 3/4. Anyway, so I'm gonna grab right near the top of the brio. I don't like to make this bend that big because I don't like to have that much wire on my brio wraps. Okay, so now we're gonna make our loop. And then instead of finishing the loop, we are gonna connect it to the earring.
You got this, Rachel.
Yeah, so we're gonna slip both wires through the loop that we have made on the earring and just pull the loop through. And then you can come in either with flat nose or round nose. I like to use round nose a lot of the time for stuff like this because the tips are just like a little bit smaller than the chain nose. And because we twisted that wire, the brioche shouldn't move around too much. I bet it's going to prove me wrong now that I've said that, but oh no, it's working perfectly. It's working the way it should. Okay, and then we're just going to come back around the top and do a wrap there. I'm going to pull on that with my chain nose though. One at a time. I'm gonna keep my, it's fighting me.
I think actually ovals would be even better for this project because
Oval jump rings?
Yeah, because you don't actually see an oval as an oval when you see it from the front. And it's a lot more secure because the seam is kept away from the bead better.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you are properly closing the jump ring, I wouldn't be worried about security necessarily on this design because it's an earring, so nobody should be tugging at the center of the earring. It's like really the most safe part. I'm just tucking my wires. They are displeasing me. Not looking how I want them to. There we go. So we've got that, and you can always, like, if you don't like how it's hanging, you can always kind of just readjust your loop or whatever. I find mine always ends up like a little bit bent, so my loop on the brio, I mean. So there's that, and it's the front. So that's how the earring's gonna look. You're not gonna watch me wrap another one, but I will show you how to start it again. So to start it, and this is to make the wire show more on like how I have mine. If you want the gems to show more, you'll flip this the other way. So I have it on the right side right now, and if you want more gems showing, you'll have it on the wrong side right now. If you want the wire showing, you'll have it on the right side. And I'm differentiating the right side from the wrong side based on where I cut my 18 gauge wire. So like this one has 3 loops and one of them is the cut, and this one only has 2.
Front side, back side, kind of.
Yeah, front side, back side. So I'm going to put the wire through the back and give myself probably about 6 inches. You're not going to need all of it, but like I said, I like to have extra working wire. It just makes everything so much easier. All right, and then we are going to do 5 to 6 loops here. Totally up to you. It just depends on how many loops you like to do when you finish things off. So you'll just double that. So if you usually like to finish off wrapped loops with 3 loops, then you'll probably want to do 6 here. But if you are okay with shorting one of them and you only want to have 5 loops, you can do 5 loops here. And in all actuality, if you end up doing 5 on one side and 6 on one side, this is 26 gauge wire. So half the population probably won't even be able to see it. I know that my eyesight is definitely going, so I get a lot of like found jewelry, and I'll like look at things and I'll be like, all right, is that an 18K on it, or is it a really big scratch? Like I just can't see it anymore.
Is that a smudge there?
Yeah, is it a smudge or words? And unfortunately, my boyfriend's eyesight is not any better, so he's not usually very helpful. Okay, so once you've got your loops, you're just gonna anchor your wire to the top loosely, just to kind of get it out of your way. And then you will thread all your beads onto this wire and begin wrapping. Now, what time is it? Do you want me to show the ear wire?
Oh my gosh, it's 4:18. I didn't even. Whatever you like. I'm just finishing up my earring here.
The ear wire is pretty quick. For all my ear wires, number one, I'm going to use half hard wire. Another wire that would be great for this is the German style. I'm not going to work hard in my half hard wire, but I would probably work hard in the German style a little bit. just because that's honestly usually what Sarah does, so I trust her. I don't have a lot of German style.
German style definitely needs to be work hardened. It's only one step work hardened, then like bare copper, then soft, then dead soft.
Hang on, where is my wire?
I'm trying to decorate. So I finished my loop here, and I added actually need to close the top loop again. Let's see if I can get that messed it up. It's a little risky here. Okay. So this is where mine is at. I added my little Tiercast crystal. I grabbed this from their table of Tucson. I don't know if we have this exact crystal. If we don't, we need to get it because it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
And then I'm going to add, I think, a couple other little dangles in here as well.
That would be pretty. Yeah, it's definitely a big enough loop for you to kind of do whatever you want with it. Yeah. If you were just using round nose pliers, you definitely could make it smaller. And you could kind of do the same technique with your round nose pliers. I just think it's easier with the bail making pliers.
Oh, I like the loop.
Yeah, you could totally fit your round nose in here. It's not going to be. I like that the bail making pliers. I like using them because it eventually stops. But you could totally use your round nose if you do not have the bail ones. But I did not think I was going to like the bail ones, and I use them so often now.
Yeah. I actually tried connecting this to the top loop, and it made the crystal turn sideways. So now I'm trying connecting it. I made a new one, and I'm connecting it to the jump ring, and I think that should get it to lay a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you put one on either side of the crystal, it might help. But we're gonna make the ear wires. We're gonna do it real fast. Okay, so this is 20 gauge wire. Like I said, it is half hard. You could totally use German style and then just tap it with the nylon when you're done. I like to. Sorry if you can hear that, like, knocking. Marauder is scratching himself and banging the table on the wall.
Marauder's a cat.
Oh yeah, that's my cat. He has to be in the room with me, otherwise he cries.
Yeah,
so yeah, we learned that. But if the other cat's in here too, he will scream because it's close to dinner time. So I cut all my ear wires to 1/4 inches. You can play around with whatever size works best for you. I find that I generally like the results pretty much always if I do that size. So we're going to make the kind of like balloon ear wires that I showed at the beginning. I like this ear wire. You know what? I just realized, did I cut this on inches? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. I'm going to cut the second one by using the first one I cut just so that they are the same size. Because I feel like when I use the ruler, I'm not that exact. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know.
I like this size for ear wires. I think that's the gist. Anyway, okay, so we're actually going to start this off very similar to start. Oh, I know what I was saying. So this is my normal style ear wire, but I like the balloon style with the hoops. I just think like the scale of it with the hoop really works, but some people might not like it as much. I don't know. It's kind of up to you. So this is kind of what we're going to be making. These I did buy, but we're going to make one. And it's really easy. And you can use a Sharpie. You could probably actually, I don't know if the bail making pliers aren't thick enough. Sharpie's perfect. I love Sharpies. Yeah. If you have not seen my other hoop class, I use a Sharpie because I love them.
Oh, right. We use the Sharpie to make the frame for the hoop.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. It's a lot smaller.
Yes. Yeah, they're significantly smaller. But when you wrap the stones on them, like the hoop also looks bigger. But yeah, look how much smaller they are. Anyway, so we are gonna start this out the same way that we started out I was looking for these. The hoops. We're gonna start it out with a simple loop. So I'm just going to make my 90-degree bend. This is probably, I don't know. You can make your loops whatever size you want. Just try to make them pretty consistent. I'm blanking on how to read this right now. It's 3/8. 3/8 of an inch. And if you find yourself making like your simple loops and you feel like, oh, maybe I didn't make the loop big enough or I didn't make it small enough, you can kind of like slide your pliers to whatever size you're needing, because it'll end up looking all right in the end, as long as you have the tip in between the pliers, like I said. Okay, we're gonna bend this one, except for that looks a little bit smaller. So JK, we're gonna bend here.
I've really entered determined mode over here. I'm like, I'm finishing this earring. I'm doing it. But
is it the first one or the second one?
The first one. It's just the first one.
That's okay. So string all the beads and have Rachel do the other one.
Okay, I have a
okay,
lovely.
So here's my loops. I'm gonna kind of like slightly readjust this one because I don't love it, but it's fine. There we go. And then we're gonna use our ply. It's off center. There we go. Okay, we're gonna use our round nose pliers again. We're gonna just put it right up against the loop and push it back. So just how we have that like little bend again. And then we're going to do exactly what we did with the hoops. And we're going to use the groove of the Sharpie. This is my favorite Sharpie trick. You have to use like a regular Sharpie. The like thin ones don't work as well. I mean, it does have the groove, but I don't know why. I just feel like this one works better. The
groove is necessary.
The groove is my favorite. It really, it keeps everything from sliding around. So it really is warm in here. I don't struggle this much usually. My hands are like, it feels like summer. Okay, so like that.
February.
Yeah. Gosh, this has been the most disappointing winter. I love winter, so I'm like, You can put it back on if you want and squeeze more.
Yeah, there was no snow there when I was there in December, which is...
It like partially snowed once.
Wow.
As compared to like 2 years ago when we had so much snow.
I remember. Oh my God.
It was like up to my waist. Like it was so much snow. Like people had their bikes strapped to like posts, and the snow was like almost to the top of the bike. Like you could barely tell there was a bike there. Okay, so we've got our balloon ear wire. At this point in time, you could work hard on it now, or you can do this next step that I'm going to show you now. You can use your chain nose, but I like to use like a flat nose pair. I think these come in like most wire kits, but so you could use this, or if you have like a little bit, you want to use your chain nose, just pick whatever section you're going to go and bend it. So I just bend the loop a little bit with the tip. So it's just like that. And then you could work hard on it at this point if you wanted to. My half hard wire is pretty good to go. The last step I'm gonna do is, even though we did use even though we did use flush cutters to cut our wire, and it's pretty flush, you do have to remember this is going through a hole in somebody's ear, so you don't want it to be sharp, because if it's too sharp, it could like cut them, could just be uncomfortable. So we're about quality. This is they call them diamond files. They were not that expensive. So I feel like that's false advertising because they were not diamond expensive, but I love them. I got them a really long time ago. If you can find diamond files, they're great. If you can find any kind of file, they're great. But you can also use sandpaper or even like an emery board.
Have you seen this guy?
Does it
This is like,
work?
yeah, totally. So this is a little burr cup there. This is a Beadalon tool.
Okay, so Sam's gonna send me that.
Sarah sent me this one.
I have a manual burr tool and I don't like it, and it was really cheap, and when I put the tip in my Dremel, I also didn't like it. So I'm gonna do it this way with my
Fair
little
enough.
file.
And those, no, yeah, that always works. It's very dependable. It's just nice to
Yeah,
have.
and like I said, sandpaper would work great. Actually, I think that even though you do kind of wear them out, they're still so cheap. Like a nail file, just a regular like emery board, you get them like you could get them at like the dollar store, and those work great for this. But you do kind of like wear them out a little bit. I used to have one somewhere on my desk, but I lost it. So
Hermie says she uses a burr tip on her Dremel tool. That's very smart.
yeah,
It's kind
I
of what,
think the burr tips that I have are just really bad,
yeah, because
and
you have to be small
I
enough to actually do
yeah,
something.
I trust it more to just do it with my also like I have like a conglomeration of wires over here and it's just easier to do this. If I'm doing a bunch of them at once, I bet I like to make all my ear wires I like to make them in batches because I find it if if I don't have an ear wire to put on the earring at the end, I'll just put it off.
Mm,
I'm not gonna I don't like to usually make the ear wires unless I'm trying to maybe another thing you could do with these is you could incorporate a stone. So if you wanted to, I don't know if this will thread on there. Well, these I think the ocean jasper actually was not Indian cut, so the holes are really nice.
hmm.
They're calibrated cut, so I think it will fit maybe on here. No. If you can get your bead to fit on the 20 gauge wire, I've definitely done that before. I know crystals will fit really nice. You could use like I think I have some Preciosa crystals in here that I got from you. I don't know if they're the right
Go
color,
ahead
but
and wrap up, Rachel, just now that it's
oh
4:30.
yeah. Anyway, so you could totally put a bead on here and then just bend right where the bead is. Here's a bead. Okay, here's a bead. And you could just like bend. Yeah. You could bend right where the bead is. I can't do it with my hand now that I've got this on here. But anyway, you can bend and then you could just finish it the same way I did. So
Yeah,
there's
I
tons
really
of ways
like
to
that.
customize this. Yeah,
Totally.
I did tell Smee that we'd be done around this time. So
Well, this is such a great design, Rachel. I feel like this is, I remember how excited folks got over doing the hoop design, the first hoop design class. So I really hope folks give this one a shot and share in Gem Chat. I need to go see
yeah,
what the
I
deal is
feel
with the
like
stock on
it's so
crystal.
addicting with the
Look,
hoops. You need to see what the deal is with the crystals, you said?
yeah, because
The
look how
crystals are
sparkly.
so pretty. The
How
crystals would also be gorgeous with how I showed to like squeeze the hoop and make it more oval. I think that would be lovely with the crystals too.
like this, I feel like someone would scoop this off your table if you had this
Mm-hmm.
crystal. And then I love the ones you
That's
have with
so
natural
stunning.
stones, like the ametrine and the
Yes.
jade, like so gorgeous. So, Rachel, thank you for bringing this inspiration to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, and we have to do some more. We'll have to figure out what else we want to do. If folks have requests, let us know for
Yeah.
some future classes. Um, and Rachel and I might have something in the works that we're not going to tell you anything about until later.
We're
But
opening a chocolate factory.
we're opening our own chocolate factory. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. Have a lovely weekend. Go make something beautiful.
Yes.
Try something, even if even if it isn't perfect. And
Post in the Gem Chat. Also, don't forget March 3rd is the
yeah,
date
March,
to have the challenge designs in.
yeah, I got about 2 weeks left. You want to submit your competition kit designs. We still have like a couple dozen competition kits left. So if you order it now, we could try to get it out early next week, and you could kind of cram in a design at the end. Also, if you just like the competition kit palette, you should grab it because once it's gone, there will not be more of it. And let's see. Joanne says that a plier Mac. Oh yeah, this is handmade. There's a version that's not handmade. This one I got from someone like 8 years ago, and I love
I
it.
was looking at that. I was like, oh, I wonder if that would help me in my plier chaos, but I don't even know where I would put it. So
I don't like it that much. I got this tool holder that I
okay, well
stole
you can just send it to me and I'll see if I like it.
All right, everyone, have a great
Okay.
weekend. Bye, Rachel. I
Thanks
will
everyone. Have a good weekend.
we'll see you soon.